Layer properties. Let's take a look at some of the properties that layers can have. But before we do that, let's create some layers. As you can see, right now we only have the default layer of 0. We'll go to the Layers Properties Manager, and we'll go ahead and create a new layer. We'll call this one Circles. Press comma. We'll call this one Lines. Press comma again. And finally, we'll call this one Annotation. And press Enter. As you can see on the right side are the properties that we'll commonly give to our layers. The very end will be ones that we'll get into later. Description, new viewport freeze, plot, and plot style, as well as transparency. For now, we'll take a look at these first ones. The on-off, freeze, lock, and color. The on-off and the freeze are very similar to each other, so you may get them confused at the beginning. Let's go ahead and draw some stuff on these layers. We'll go ahead and select the layer we want to draw something on. Lines. Go ahead and draw a line. Change layers again to circle. We'll draw a circle right here. I'll go ahead and pan a little bit to put it in view better. And now this looks kind of boring because both of these have the same color of white. Let's go ahead and change it. One way you can do is through the pull down menu. Select the white color here and change it. Or we can go into the Properties Manager and change the colors here. I'll pick green for this one. As you can see, I set the properties of my two layers. All my circles will be on this layer, and all my lines will be on this layer. Now, let's take a look at what the on-off does. But before we do that, let's change layers to circles. Now I'm going to go ahead and turn off the lines layer. As you can see, it disappears from view. Let's turn it back on. Now let's take a look at the freeze and thaw. Again, it disappears. At first glance, they both may seem like they do the same thing, but they don't. Let's go ahead and turn it off. Click within the drawing space. I'll go ahead and double click on the mouse wheel to zoom extend. As you can see, it fits in the green circle and it pretends the imaginary line that we had earlier is still there, the red one that we had. Let's go ahead and turn it on so you can see our zoom fit the line into our view. Let's go ahead and freeze that. Go ahead and click back into model space and we'll double click again on the mouse wheel. Now you can see we zoomed in on the green circle only. Whenever you freeze and thaw, it takes it away from regenerating. So that means when we're zooming for some items, it won't be there. With the on and off, it simply just hides itself. So let's go ahead and turn that back on. Double click again, and there we go. We have our two items. Now, if I wanted to, I can come here to the Modify panel, select Move, select the line, right click, and go ahead and select the base point to move this, and then I can move the line. But what happens if we want to make sure that we don't move this line? Well, we can go ahead and go to the layers, and we can lock this. As you can see, it darkened a little bit. Now if we click back into model space, select the line, it becomes dashed. Now you may think we're still able to move it, so let's try. Hit escape, hit the move icon, I'll go ahead and select the line. As you can see, I can't move it. The command line says one was on a locked layer. So if you want to make sure your geometry isn't moved while you're working on something very intricate, go ahead and lock that layer. Now I'm going to go ahead and unlock it. And go ahead and click back in model space. Try to move it again. Select the line. Hit enter. Go ahead and select my base point. And now you can see I can move the line. As you can see, layers provide much control over the geometry of our design. You can go ahead and manipulate each layer individually by making them visible or invisible, or even lock them to prevent later editing.